What is going on, everybody? Welcome back to the channel. Aftersound here, bringing you Splinterlands content every single day. We also stream right here on this channel every Tuesday, Thursday, and Sunday morning, so come by and say hello. All right, guys. Well, we are a day past, or about 24 hours after the Bitcoin halving, which seems pretty much like a sell the news event. Bitcoin is now down to 44K, and of course, that's affecting the rest of the market and our favorite tokens within the Splinterlands ecosystem, namely DEC and SPS. Vouchers seem to be going up, but maybe that's a conflicts-driven thing. Now, I don't want to focus too much on SPS. It's the governance token. It has its utility, both direct and indirect. Where I really want to turn my focus to is DEC, because as you can see here, we are more than 7% away from PEG, and with it being the product-backed stablecoin that the team touts, we're not seeing the products, or at least the demand for those products, really drive that value back up to PEG. So I would say that this is the first post-SPS Flywheel activation DEC hangover that we are witnessing. I know that's a little bit of a mouthful. So what am I trying to say here? Once we've had the SPS Flywheel activation, which I'll say, it pretty much happened with the launch of Land 1.5 and Rebellion back in November, December, right? Before that, I think we'd only burned like 2 million SPS, but you can see in that time over the past 2 months, we burned 42 million just to create enough DEC. This post Flywheel activation period, this is the first time that we're seeing too much DEC in the space. So what do I mean by that? Well, it's funny because everybody was like super celebrating whenever the team would burn a ton of DEC and refill their coffers, which they haven't done in a while, and they may do, but really what they should be doing is buying DEC off the marketplace. It's just with the amount of DEC out there and that they would need to buy, it would need to be a significant amount in order to actually push that value. On top of that, we've seen Rebellion Pack sales, I should say, slow down. A majority of them are getting burned every day, which again is going to create or preserve some value for Rebellion. Keep in mind, we're at what, 550 plus 80. So we're at about 630,000 packs sold. Again, the team wants to sell 1.5 million over the course of the entire year, right? Or up until December of this year. So again, there will be times where this goes up and down. So what I want to focus on is, okay, we clearly know that demand is down, that the PEG or DEC is off of its PEG. But what we once again need to figure out is how much extra DEC do we have? That is the big question. And there's a number here that I want to share with you guys, which I don't want to raise any alarms or red flags or whatever. I don't know whether or not it should be concerning, but it is something that I'm paying close attention to. And that is here. If you look at the liquidity distribution of DEC. All right, so let's start from the bottom. The company has about 227 million. Maybe they'll refill that up to 300 as they have. Maybe they won't. The DAO has almost 1.5 billion, right? Land has almost 1.5 billion. You can see the market and pools have about 883 million, but the players are holding on to 1.3 billion DEC, almost 1.35 billion DEC. This DEC is just sitting there in accounts, not doing anything on land, not earning in pools, right? It's not being used to buy products, right? Specifically like Rebellion packs. So why are people sitting on 1.3 billion DEC? That's the big question that I'm trying to ask myself, right? So I don't know if there is a... Okay, so what are the quick explanations for this? One, you could have it be that maybe some people are just accumulating in this time. Maybe some people are trying to play the trade, right? Because DEC going back from, let's say people bought it when it was about around the 900 Splintoshi range, 910 Splintoshi range. If it does go back up, then that's like I don't want to say an easy 10%, nor a guaranteed 10%, but at some point, if you believe, right, then you can earn, you can make a decent return just by holding DEC and waiting for it to go back to PEG. Sure, that could be one. The other part is maybe people bought in at a time when they were planning to buy some cards and use that DEC, but DEC was at PEG or closer to PEG, yet they sat on it. And now that DEC only has 92% of the value, right? So they were going to come in, they bought a bunch of DEC at PEG, and they're like, all right, I'm going to wait it out to see if these Rebellion cards get a little bit cheaper on the marketplace, right? Not packs, but Rebellion cards specifically get cheaper on the marketplace. And now all of a sudden I've lost 7 to 8% of my purchasing power. That sucks. I'm going to wait it out because I don't want to overspend since I bought this DEC at peg, and now essentially I'm having to pay more per card, even though, some of the card values have come down, right? We can see the estimated value of a Rebellion pack is now below $4. So those are the two quick things that I run to. But again, does that make up 1.35 billion DEC? Or are people there's got to be something else further with that? And so I'm looking at this and the 1.35 billion and thinking to myself, all right, it's not that we need to burn 1.35 billion. I mean, maybe we do. I'm sure there's a significant amount in there that we do need to burn, but that's the question, right? How much do we need to burn? How much extra are people sitting on? What's the reason that they are sitting on it? And once we can figure that out, or more specifically, once the team can create demand, right, either through adding additional products and features, whether it's through land, maybe a promo card, maybe a burn event, right, even though it's going to be a card burn event, potentially what could end up happening is maybe people use the DEC then to buy cards off the marketplace, right? So they either buy DEC off the marketplace to use. So again, we just need to see some market activity to really determine why there's so much DEC, we need to see market activity to really just get the juices flowing within the ecosystem, because right now it's a little odd for me to see that much DEC sitting on the sidelines. Again, if you have theories or thoughts as to why that could be the case, please do let me know. But to me, when I saw that number, I'm like, that's a little high considering DEC is not quite at peg yet, right? So, or it's not quite at peg at the current moment. So my guess, and this is just total speculation, none of this financial advice, no whatever, but my guess is that a majority of this DEC might be for part of those two reasons that I said earlier. But we've also minted a billion DEC over the past 2 months. Check it out. We were at not a billion. We were at 4.6 billion, and we've gone up to almost 5.4. So we've minted about 800 million extra DEC. So if I'm just going to pull, this is all arbitrary, but I'm trying to show my work here, even though it's all just guesses. If I had to guess, if the team was doing this primarily for Rebellion being the driver, right? A lot of people had already stacked up their DEC for land. Maybe some people bought more here and there. But if Rebellion was the primary driver for this, keep in mind that the team gets half and the DAO gets half. So whatever goes to the DAO gets locked up. We can see 1.4 billion here, but the extra amount gets recirculated out. So if we printed 800 million, but only 400 million of that went to the DAO, a lot of that gets recirculated out. So again, I'm not saying that this is right, but I'm almost in my head, just to give myself a target, thinking to myself, well, we probably need to burn about 300 to 400 million, right? Just to get rid of that extra, because we printed it, but then it gets recirculated back into the ecosystem because the team either sells it. Well, actually they said they don't sell it, but it gets recirculated with credits. So again, I'm not saying that the logic is not flawed. I'm not saying that this is the exact reason. I'm not even saying that this is the right number. But for me, now I'm looking at this and thinking to myself, okay, unless there's some major catalyst in the rest of the market, unless there's a major catalyst with Splinterlands, pretty much launching something or putting out some new features, which hopefully will happen. When do we start to feel the tightening again for DEC? And I'm going to say once players stop holding over $1 billion, right? So that puts us about the 350 million that we would need to burn or send to the DAO or to put on land or to spend with the company or something like that, right? Or to put in the markets and pool. Sorry, not the markets, but specifically the liquidity pools. So again, I'm watching this number now. I'm not saying that it means anything. I'm just telling you guys that I'm watching it, and I would love to get your feedback on what your thoughts are for that. So let me know in the comments below. Otherwise, I will catch you all in the next video and see you around the game. Take care.